All right. Apparently we're live,
We are
but not
live.
on my laptop. So this is really strange. Oh, that's why. Okay, so
We're good now.
happy
Yay.
Thursday.
Yes, today is Thursday.
Happy
That's our
Thursday.
normally scheduled recording.
Thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday,
March 9th,
March 9th,
2023.
2023.
We're really just dragging this out.
No, this is what I normally do. I'm just having the producer in my ear, and that's really tough right now.
Right.
So we have a very exciting show today.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Jim Wickens is here.
Yes.
He is here to show off his NFL Draft Fanatics.com website. I got that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I was so afraid I was going to get it wrong. Okay. This site is awesome.
No notes.
Stay around, hang, and make sure that you stay to watch it. We're going to demo it. We'll take questions. Jim will give answers. We'll ask questions along the way ourselves. But if you see us not asking the questions you want, ask the question and we will get you an answer.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
I'll be on the lookout.
Like Noah said. So, as we said, it's Thursday, 3/9/23.
Yes.
Yes.
The Sabres.
Sabres.
Really quick.
How was your day?
It was all right. Another day.
Another
day, another dollar. Right?
Another dollar?
Yeah.
How was your
Just
week?
Working
been?
for the man.
I know. Yeah.
How's what?
Your week. Since our
another
last show,
week, another paycheck. I don't know.
Another $2.
Yeah, another. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
so
actually
before we get
inflation.
into talking about the site and talking with Jim, we're just going to talk a little bit of Sabres with you because there is some Sabres news. We're just going to throw it at you. And basically, Sabres momentum has slowed.
Yeah.
They're 5-5 now in their last 10. They play Dallas tonight, which is going to be a tough one. You think they're going to win?
I do. After the way they lost the last game, I think they're going to have something to prove. The goal that was overturned from a not. I mean, that rule's dumb. Like
the kicking rule,
because he didn't make a distinct enough motion, but his foot was going I don't know. His foot was going forward, but it wasn't going forward enough for the rule to apply, which doesn't make any sense.
And we'll get into that.
It also doesn't make any sense that that's your explanation from the NHL.
Hey,
he did.
You
break
weren't
the rule.
around for no goal, so you were one or something.
I just don't remember. Yeah,
So, but. Yeah, they gave the rule on the ice for no goal as well. So yes, it's a dumb thing. So 5-5 in their last 10. They had Bryson in the lineup. They had Clegg in the lineup. A bunch of injuries. They get Samuelson and Stillman back. No Bryson, no Clegg.
Yeah.
Your Samuelson jersey is going to come in and helpful. And is that why they're going to get the win?
Yes, it is.
So Stillman's going to be a nice boost. And obviously we know that they traded for Greenway. We talked about that a little bit last time. Mm-hmm. Greenway skating on the top line with Skinner and Tage. We talked about that last time. What are your thoughts?
Hinostroza is the one who's sitting.
Yeah, they sat. That was my other point. They sat Hinostroza for Olofsson. Mm-hmm. And I was going to ask you what you thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, I see it. Even though Vinny has played well, he's still a call up. So I don't think they view him as a main point of the roster, but I do think
they should though.
I know, but they have this. They love Olofsson. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. And they really are trying desperately to get him out of this cold streak. And it is not working. It doesn't matter what line he's on. It doesn't matter what PK line he's on. It doesn't matter what power play line he's on. It just doesn't work. I don't know. But
Okay.
it makes sense that they want to try.
Yeah.
But
I would rather see Hinestro's in.
Yeah, I would.
It's pretty much that straight. When Tuck comes back, you drop Greenway down, but you try Greenway as your Tom Wilson for now.
Which could work.
Sabres are 6 points back of the Islanders, 5 points back of Pittsburgh. They have 4 games in hand on.
They have
4 games.
4 on the Islanders.
4 on the Islanders.
Yeah, 2 on Florida.
That looks like 3, but I don't know.
I don't think this is right. I think it is 4.
Okay.
But
so they have some games in hand on some of these teams.
Yeah.
They're going to be going.
But they lost. I think they lost their games in hands on Pittsburgh. They're losing their games in hand on Florida, and I'm pretty sure they also had games in hand on Ottawa, and they lost those too. So this is a really important stretch. Do I expect them to make the playoffs? Am I expecting it? No. Would I love it? Absolutely. But I think where we stand right now is, it's great and all that to, want them to get there. Yeah. But I think being in this position at all, having meaningful games in March for the first time in 8 years, 10 years, where we actually care about hockey in March. Yeah. Besides it's, the Sabres game is on. No, these games matter. But this will be a huge test for this team. Will they be up to it? I hope so. Because that probably means they make it in the playoffs. But if they don't, you know where the problems are.
Yep. So they'll be able to fix it quick.
Hopefully.
Yep. So still pushing, still momentum a little bit for a playoff spot could happen. Hopefully. Well, but
hopefully. Cross your fingers, right?
But being close is nice. Being close
is nice. Yeah, let's just revel in being close and having good hockey.
With no further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Jim Wickens from NFL Draft Fanatics.com. NFL Draft Fanatics.com.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about his draft website, which has been 10 months in the making so far and still under much development, is my understanding.
It's still under development. Most of it's there, but we're putting some finishing touches on it.
Nice.
I'll talk about some of that when we get into the demo.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself a little bit, Jim. What's your background? What brought you about to do this, to think about that?
Yeah, maybe I'm just a little crazy. I don't know. So
with that.
Jim Wickens, proud member of Bill's Mafia. I am in Detroit, Michigan, or on the outside of Detroit, Michigan. Born Cheektowaga, raised in Fairport, but I haven't lived in Western New York since about 1993. So I've been Ohio, my kids live in Cincinnati, and then I'm in Detroit. So I've spent most of my adult life in the Midwest. So I've always been passionate about the NFL draft, right? Mm-hmm. I like getting into the discussions of the probabilities of this player going here, or is the player top 10, is the player top 50, and then the conversations about a player moves up a draft board or down a draft board. And as we get into talking about the simulator, we've actually been able to use the simulator to discover there's a couple players that are probably dropping down the draft board, but you don't see that on the other websites because until they update a big board, you don't know that they dropped. Whereas with the way that we designed NFL Draft Fanatics, you can see which teams want certain players or don't want them. And I'll point that out when we actually get into the simulator. So I really get into that. It's not a draft simulator like all the others, right? This one is designed.
That's what we've been saying. So you better put up.
Yeah. So we'll talk about how it's designed a little bit.
Yeah.
And I will try my best to point out how it is designed to work. right? Like I don't want to all of the draft simulators, right? We're all playing in a fictional world anyway, right? So
Yep.
there's no such you can't have bad fiction, right?
My mom's
so-
an English teacher. She may differ.
Yeah, so we'll get in and we'll talk about it a little bit and go into its design. You can find me on Twitter, NFL Draft Fanatic. There's no I in fanatic. Twitter ran out of letters. So there's no I in fanatic there. So you can find me on Twitter there, and then I'm also on Twitter as a Cincy Planner. So the Fanatics website has its own Twitter, and then I have my own Twitter as well. So, do we want to get started? Or do you guys have some questions?
Absolutely. Unless our users have any questions, it doesn't seem that we have any in queue. So as of now, let's get cranking. And show off your site, man. Let's.
Okay. So, do you guys see it?
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Yep. There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
So before we start a mock, I want to point out something that makes the site a little unique. So every team on Draft Fanatics has its own player list. So for example, if we scroll down, this is the list of players it's using for Buffalo, right? So whenever Buffalo drafts, it's looking at this list. Now, every team has the same 540 players, but what's different is the order of the players it's feeding the simulator. So you can go in and you can see what the Bills have, okay? And then the Jets player list looks completely different.
Okay.
Okay. So that's just fundamental to how the site is designed. There's 32 teams, there's 32 player boards. That's just fundamental to it. So when we go and we start a mock, and I'm actually going to start with the Patriots because I'm going to show off a couple of things. I want to give a shout out to Taylor Kyles because he was the first podcaster to look at this and share some mocks. So what I'm going to do is the site has something called the first round challenge. Okay, so no other site has this.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of this is to do 5 straight first round drafts. So it's a 1-round draft. We're going to do it 5 times. So according to Taylor, he thought the Patriots were selecting a cornerback, an offensive tackle, or a wide receiver.
Okay.
I believe those were, when he sent me 3 mocks, those were the positions that he took.
Gotcha.
So the way what it's going to do is it's going to go through and it's going to do a mock. And then you just go through and you look at the player board and say, okay, well, more than likely, if Will Anderson's there for the Patriots, they're taking him. Okay, now it's doing another first round. But what it guarantees this time is that Will Anderson won't be available to the Patriots. So now it's a completely new first round. And he liked Christian Gonzalez. So the first 2 players I've picked have been at the top of the board. Probably because I've done this before, right, to make sure it worked.
Yeah.
He also liked Broderick Jones. Notice again, the player that we liked is at the top of the board.
Mm-hmm.
So this is looking really promising that I'm going to be able to grab. And then he also liked Jackson Smith. Okay. So
it's like you designed it or something.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact, and then, so this would be this is the 5th. This is the 5th mock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've done 5 straight. So if those 5 guys or those 4 guys aren't available, who would the Patriots pick? Right. Are they going to go Witherspoon? Would they go Flowers? So I'm not going to pick Witherspoon, even though I think that's a reasonable suggestion because I want to grab somebody that's not at the top.
Well, you know the Patriots, right? They can go rank 63rd or something ADP, but
Yep. Okay, so this is a good way to explain kind of how the simulator works. So these are the top 10 players on the board for the Patriots according to the simulator, right? You can see BPA 1 through 10, right? Okay, so the way the simulator is designed, generally speaking, it always looks for somebody in the top 8, always. So the 9th player here will never be considered for that pick as far as the simulator goes. The simulator is always going to go for one of the top 8. So what I'm going to do is say, I don't think Ojulari is a first round pick. It's my opinion, right?
Right.
So there has to be at least one player that's after 19 that the Patriots would be considering. Mayer's a reasonable suggestion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go Forbes, right? So right now I want you to observe Forbes is 25. Ojulari is 19. We're going to make that observation. I don't always do well with remembering numbers, but I think I can remember 25 and 19.
Okay. We got you if not.
Yep. Okay. So it goes through and it shows the 5 Patriots picks, right? The A pluses represent the fact I picked the top player on the card.
Okay.
Right? So let's go do that one more time. So I'm going to go in New England, first round challenge. Okay. So notice where Forbes is.
Okay. So he jumped.
Okay.
So he went from 25 to 7.
Wow.
Yep. And Ojulari, not even on the first page anymore.
Okay.
Not even on the second page. Nope.
There it is. The 31st.
31.
Okay.
So he went from 19.
12 back. Okay.
So that's what's going to happen every single time somebody uses this.
So no matter how many users, no matter how many users there are using the draft board at the same time, so your board can be manipulating and maneuvering throughout.
Oh yes. So that is the entire premise of how this got designed. Is I wanted there to be a lot of randomness, because if you use, and I'd like to point out with PFF, if you use PFF enough, you can pretty much figure out that player is always going to be there in round 4. Or that player is always going to be there in round 5.
It gets pretty boring.
Yep, and that's not going to be true here. So I purposely designed this so that wouldn't happen.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going to go for 5A pluses. Okay.
Yep.
So I like for the Patriots, I like Gonzalez. Nigma's a good pick. Jones is a good pick for the Patriots.
You're making my stomach turn, showing the Patriots making good draft selections.
Okay. Now, but you see, this is again an interesting one, because if I say Witherspoon is higher than Forbes, I'm not getting the A+. I'm just going to point that out. I do think Witherspoon should be higher than Forbes. So I am going to pick Witherspoon next.
Okay.
So that was Witherspoon was 9, Forbes was 7. Okay. So I didn't get my A+, but my mother, among many other people, will tell you I was never a straight A student. So I'm completely okay with that.
Us either. Don't worry.
Yeah. So if we look at the Patriots player list, that's what it looks like. So this is how it's going to feed. And notice now, Witherspoon is 7. Forbes moved. So Witherspoon moved from 9 to 7. Forbes moved from 7 to 8. and it looks like Murphy is probably the player that dropped one.
Yeah, it looks that way. That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But this is how the simulator is feeding the Patriots players. Okay. Now, one player that Taylor Kyles liked, and he's probably, I guess he liked him in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to point him out, because when we start going in and doing mocks for other teams, yeah, he liked Brent's. Okay. He liked Brent's in the 3rd round. So player 42, right, the 42nd pick is in the middle of the 2nd round. But he liked Brent's in the 3rd. So I just want to point that out as to where Brent's is on the board.
Okay.
He's so I just want to jump in real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but so would you say that this leans more towards looking at a team's need versus deciding to choose the best player possible just for that pick? Like, it seems like it takes a lot into account actual team needs, like a real draft in real life.
I would say it's the opposite.
Okay.
I would say it's a BPA, because just because it picks Christian Gonzalez in the 1st round, which is a cornerback, will not prevent it from taking Brent's in the 3rd round.
Okay.
Right. So
I see.
It's the board. It's looking at the board, which means it's actually more BPA. There is the only team need is the human that's interacting with it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There's nothing in the algorithm that says the Patriots need a corner.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I understand. Okay. So it leans so overall this leans more BPA, but
yes,
where there's that distinction
is based upon the user knowledge.
Based upon the user knowledge. Right. Okay.
Right.
So that makes sense. That's wow. That's great.
And then the user knowledge modifies the BPA,
which is great. Yeah.
Right. And this is a
amazing.
great example of where this simulator will be different than some of the others. So, for example, if you were to use one of the other simulators, Brent has a ranking. He has the same ranking for all 32 teams. So you can reasonably predict that he's going to be there for you. And you know he's going to be there in the 2nd round.
Right.
And he might be there in the 3rd. Right. Whereas here, there is a Pittsburgh mock. Somebody did a Pittsburgh mock that I fed into the system. And Brent's went in the 2nd. So that means that he's not going to be there where you might expect him.
Yeah.
So we've done Patriots. And then I want to do Jacksonville as well. One of the reasons I want to do Jacksonville, and we're going to do a 1st round challenge for them too, is Jacksonville can go a lot of directions. So their list of needs, they can pretty much draft any position that's not a quarterback, and it's going to look really good. So
right.
I'm going to go in for Jacksonville, and actually, yes, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to do a 3-round mock for Jacksonville. Huh. Can't uncheck it once I check it. Good to know. Okay, we'll do a 1st round challenge. Okay, so Jacksonville wide receiver looks good to be at the top of the board.
Yeah, 24.
I don't like Deonte Banks there. So I would say Jordan Addison should be higher. I like Osiris, and I'm purposely picking the player that's under Deonte Banks because I don't think Deonte Banks would go in the 1st round.
Yeah, so they dropped him.
Yep. For kicks and giggles, I'm going to take Harrison, offensive lineman, move him up. and I'll say Jalen Hyatt. Okay, so that's my first round challenge. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a 3-round mock for Jacksonville. Okay, so one of the reasons we're doing that is let's check because the Patriots have already picked. So the Patriots selected Broderick Jones, right, which is one of the players that we moved up there, right?
Right.
Okay, so this is what it looks like for Jacksonville. And I think out of these players for Jacksonville, I am going to say wide receiver. So I'm going to go with Addison. Okay, so now we scroll up. We look at the Patriots. Okay, so that's who they grabbed in the second round. And I don't think we never really touched the second round board for the Patriots. But I am pointing that out because I also want to see what they do in round 3. So after wide receiver, they would probably go offensive line. So a couple features on the site. You can multi-pick positions.
Wow.
So that you can see, like, here's all the offensive linemen. And I like the wow. Thank you for the wow. Because you can't do that on the other side.
Yeah, no, you can't.
And
that's great.
Ironic, I didn't even give the developer that exact requirement. She listened to what a user goes through, and she came up with that on her own.
Wow.
So I like Duncan. I like Duncan here for the Jaguars.
One that listens?
Yes.
And then if you look, where's the Patriots pick?
Did they get their man?
Huh.
How about that?
Right. That pick was put there by Taylor Kiles. He picked Brents twice in the 3rd round. So the board is predictive. So if we look at the Patriots' 3 picks, they went, there was a wide receiver there. And was it offensive line here?
Yes. It was the tackle.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, to dumb this down, I guess, the way I view this is it's a constantly ever evolving, changing big board based on
I
user
completely
input.
agree. I like that analogy. And actually somebody told me that earlier today
Mhm.
in a message on Twitter. They're like, they like that it's not as predictable as any of the other simulators. The entire design of this is that the experience for you should be unique every single time you come in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done wide receiver, tackle, and I think Garrett Williams in the 3rd round to the Jaguars sounds like a good pick. And he is at the top of the board. Right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't know that Garrett Williams lasts to the 3rd round, but I think that's a good pick for the Jaguars. So I'm doing that on purpose. So we've done 2 teams that picked before Buffalo, right?
Right.
I was just thinking this.
Yeah. So
The Buffalo.
so you set their boards.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about these buttons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So draft card depth, it defaults to 2. And this is saying if a team does not pick the top player on their card, how far down the card does it go? And that's why I said at the very beginning, we look at the top 8 players on at the time of the pick.
Right.
Right? So this is what's going to control that. So it defaults to 2. I'm bumping it up to 8.
Gotcha.
This is how many teams are not picking the top player. So that would be half the teams right there, 16 out of 32. Half the teams are not picking the top player. It defaulted to 2. That means only 2 teams were not picking the top.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with 16 here. Okay. Now, I want to caution the audience that when you do this, you're going to see things that you haven't seen before. Will Anderson, it is, if you stack up the mathematical probabilities, it is
If you're about to tell me that there's a chance
Will Anderson
Will
could fall to the
Anderson will
Bills.
fall to the Bills,
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance, right? So I do want to warn you that when you have this set to 16 and this set to 8, you're going to see things that you probably, I can guarantee you won't see them on the other simulators, but you will see them here.
Right.
Now, in round 1, it seems a little weird. I'll solve that one in the next demonstration.
Okay.
But for the other rounds, that's a good thing. Because how often, like we have Khalil Shakir, right?
Right.
Anybody predicted he was going to fall round 5 last year?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right.
No.
So
Yeah.
this is going to allow a situation like that to happen in the later rounds. So what you don't like in the first round, you should like in round 5. I'm just saying. Okay, so we're going to 16 and 8, and we're going with Buffalo.
in theory, this should give you
Okay,
closer to
so
actual draft.
notice where Mozzie Smith is.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yep.
I have somebody's obviously been playing with this because I haven't seen Mozzie Smith. Somebody's obviously done some mocks where Mozzie Smith went to Buffalo in round 1. Right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so let's review. Okay, so there was the New England
Interesting.
and there was the Jacksonville. So because randomness was bumped up,
Mm-hmm.
those were okay. So with Buffalo in this case,
Because CJ Stroud went to the Giants at 25.
Yeah.
yep.
A rookie QB and a quarterback that they owe $160 million to.
So I'm going to go Hyatt here. I think he's a popular pick to Buffalo, right? I think
Yeah.
I think 50% of the mocks have him going to Buffalo, right, that I see. So notice Mozzie Smith being really high on Buffalo's board.
Mm-hmm.
He is still there in the second round. We've done here, we need to do offensive line. So I want to point out a couple of other things. So let's talk about Voorhees for a minute. So at the beginning of the draft process, a lot of people had Voorhees going in round 2. And in most simulations I'm seeing here, he's now fallen to round 3. Right? So I'm not saying you heard it here first, but I don't think Voorhees is going in round 2.
Okay.
Like, just based upon what I'm reading from other people, you know, he's coming off of an injury. Yeah. So because nobody is picking him, the simulator is dropping him.
That's fantastic.
Right? So
yeah, that's really cool.
So I think here, let's see, is Bergeron still on the board? Yeah, I don't think Bergeron's been picked. Let's verify that. Did I spell his name right? I think so.
Oh, no, he's right there.
Oh,
pick 30.
No, he went round 1 to Philly. Again, most other simulators, he's about player 50, but somebody really likes him in the first round and they moved him up Philly's board.
Gotcha.
That is, wow. Just because, like, people like him to Philly, you know.
Right.
Now we lose out on him.
Or they're just a Philly fan and they say, this is who I want.
Yeah.
Right. So it could go either
right.
way.
And we'll find out if that was an A+ pick once this draft is over. Right. We'll be able to see the grade the simulator put on it. So A+ means he was the top player on the card. Else he was 2 through 8.
Okay.
Right, where meaning
Okay.
he was a random selection as opposed to the top player on the card.
Okay.
So in this case, again, well, is Buffalo going to go edge?
Again.
Could go linebacker.
So do you guys have anybody you like? We've already done wide receiver. I'm thinking safety.
Safety would be solid. Campbell would be okay if they lost Edmonds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to point out that Johnson's rank is 53 because we're going to do a second Buffalo sim here in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so now we definitely need to find some linemen.
Ooh, Braden
Daniels.
Oh,
Freeland sitting there in round 3.
that yeah, though.
You like that?
Yeah, we're good with that.
Okay. I can't see facial expressions because I'm looking at
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
no, sorry. We're just
no, that's all right.
watch it.
Yeah, we're tuned in. I don't think our viewers can see our faces either. We should probably do that.
We've done offensive line. Okay, so
could go running back.
we haven't done a center though.
Oh,
So I like Andrews, but I'm willing to listen. And Dorian Williams would be another good. Okay, Williams is 91. Let's draft him.
Tulane.
Jalen Reed, your boy.
Still there?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's probably gonna.
I like Stills.
You like Stills? Oh, right there. Okay, and he's 141. Okay. So once this finishes, let's look at the first round grades.
Yeah.
See the A's.
I failed.
So the A pluses were the teams that
Right.
grabbed the highest player on their card. Anything
Okay.
that was an A, so the first 12 picks, I saw no A pluses.
Huh.
That means that the randomness of the simulator was grabbing a player in the top 8, but not the player that was number 1.
Right.
And those were the randomness settings that we gave it.
Mhm.
Right. So I just want to point that out. Right. So let's go back in and let's do another Buffalo draft. But now I'm going to flip on one more button. So we're still going to go here and here. Okay. First round BPA. That says every team in round 1 grab the top player on your card.
Ah, okay.
Right. So even though I've got the randomness up, the randomness is going to happen later in the draft. It's not going to happen in round 1.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
That's how I do it every time.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Have the randomness come later.
Yeah. It seems like it's more random beyond the first, but then I think about it.
Right.
It's random the whole time.
So we'll do first round BPA. So let's just take a look at what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So according to this, Will Anderson to the Bears. That makes sense. The Texans did not select a quarterback. Somebody has moved Tyree up on the Texans board.
Okay.
Because like when I was in like 3 days ago, it was a quarterback. So somebody, a Texans fan, has done that.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Cardinals
cool.
aren't
Yeah.
selecting a quarterback. Do we agree that if Stroud is there, the Colts are taking him? Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Right? Quarterback to Seattle, that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. Here. Quarterback to the Falcons, quarterback to the Panthers.
Yeah.
I want to
Makes sense.
reiterate there is no team need algorithm here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's based upon people when they're drafting. Those are the players that are at the top of the board.
Right. It's almost like crowdsourcing your draft.
It is. I've
It's
heard that
great.
analogy before. Yes.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Okay, Gonzalez. That was one of the first, right? We were setting that first round challenge up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Jordan Addison, we set that one up too, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's what, if everybody goes BPA, that's what the board for Buffalo looks like.
Hyatt, really?
I
mean, yeah. Hey.
Washington's there. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you
John
know,
Robinson.
you know my soft spot for my 6'4", 200 tight end that is also a lineman.
270.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just to make the audience happy then. Let's make the host happy. I'll go tight end. Okay, so the second round became randomized. Right? So that first round BPA says that first round is top player on the card. Second round becomes random, right?
Cold.
So there's Bergeron sitting there for Buffalo in round 2. That seems, and look, according to this, he is the 34th player on Buffalo's board.
Huh.
Right? And my opinion is also he should be higher than Avila.
Yeah.
So pick him. And what I forgot to check last time is where the players were on the board at the end of the draft. So let me do one thing here. So let's look at wide receivers. So Hutchinson in the 3rd, to me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And he was 90 at the time I picked him. 9-0. We haven't done a safety yet. And notice the safety is sitting right there at the top of the board. And that's based on the fact that he's been picked for Buffalo a few times. So the more you pick a player, the more they're going to move up.
Okay.
That's just
right. That's just generally the way that it's going to work.
Yeah.
So if you do a mock once, but you never go back to see what happened after, you don't realize that you moved the players up on the board.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Safety. Okay. We need more linemen. I like, we're what, round 4? Round 5. So this is Buffalo's 5th round pick. I like Andrews in the 5th.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're good with that.
Okay. So now let's go. When we're done here, we're going to go back in and we're going to look at Buffalo's team board. So let's look at team needs, player list, and I'm trying to remember, who'd we grab in round 2? It was Bergeron, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't remember what number he was. I thought he was
34.
He was 34 and he moved up to 30 by us picking it. Right. So he's moved up just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the 3rd round pick
was Hutchison. He was 90.
Something.
Thank you.
I think it was 90. That's the one I'm interested in because I want to see how much it moved him up. 90.
There will be a lot of volatility rounds 3, 4, 5. So meaning like if you grab somebody in round 5, it's possible that you could move somebody from 200 on the card to 100 with one pick.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So it like you will see volatility there, but you will not see, like, to move a player from 200 to player 5 will take a more concerted effort. It wasn't that Stevenson, was it?
No, it was Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, I'm sorry. Oh,
There you
right
go.
there. He moved from
Wow.
90 to 76.
Okay.
He
All
moved
right.
up 14 spots.
Based off that one draft.
Based off that pick. Yeah.
That one pick, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think you had it spot on. We both merging our things together, crowdsourcing, making it an ever evolving big board.
Evolution.
Yeah.
And that's the goal would be getting fans of 32 teams to use this, because each time somebody comes in, it could literally change the other 31 teams' picks if they grab a player like 2 rounds before.
Right.
And everybody thought they could get Brents in the 4th, and somebody's really grabbing him in the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, or something like that, right? Because, like, for example, actually, let's do a Pittsburgh mock. Because one of the things that makes Pittsburgh unique is that they have 2 second-round picks this year. So in round 1, I think they're going to go corner. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to do Brents later. So I'm going to go Addison here. So they did. Oh,
that'd be nice for
and
them.
it helps if I get the right number of rounds.
Very good.
Addison's gone. Okay, so I'm going to say they go Darnell Wright. Let me verify what other offensive linemen are there. No, I'm going to go Skoronski.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is they have the first pick in the 2nd round. So 32 is the first pick in the 2nd round, and that's from the who did they trade? They traded somebody to Chicago, I believe.
It was the
receiver. No.
Yes, it was the receiver. I can see his face.
Yeah.
He did the TikToks. Claypool. Yep. It was a Claypool trade.
Yep. So
they got a 2nd for him.
Yep.
I am going to say they're going to go defensive line here. They've done offensive line. Benton is a possible 1st-round pick. That makes a lot of sense here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Brent, because I saw at least one Pittsburgh mock that had him going in round 2. So he's 95 right now, and I'm picking him at pick 49. Okay. So somebody did that.
Right.
They didn't use the simulator to do it, but somebody did do that.
Right. A quote-unquote expert.
And then if I grab an edge, okay. So I like this pick right here for Pittsburgh. We have offensive line, defensive line, corner, edge, linebacker. And look at that, sitting right there. That's a beautiful pick for them.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Okay. So we've done this, but I want to focus on Brent's, right? Because we did a Patriots draft where we grabbed him in round 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did a Pittsburgh draft where we drafted him in round 2.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where I'm saying that if people were trying to find him in round 4, and then all of a sudden he's in the 3rd round on the Patriots board, and then somebody grabs him in the 2nd, the cascade effect of what it does when the player is off the board as to like who is the next player on the board can create a lot of randomness that you won't find with other simulators. And that was by design.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, because, as we all know, the regular simulator just feeds off of one thing, but this having its each own individual thing,
right?
Minus the fact that there's already a randomness bar, throws in even more randomness because, you were sitting there when we were doing the randomness one, and yeah, sure, the first round looked a little crazy with CJ Stroud going to the Giants in that one.
25, yeah.
But when you did it the second time with the first player, best player available, I was looking at some of those picks in the second round, and I'm like, that could happen.
Right.
Like, that makes sense.
Right.
Right.
So
you're clearing out the actual BPAs, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is what the first round does, just
to a certain extent.
Right. Probably 30. It's
30 some, right?
Out of the top 45 BPAs, 32 get taken, right? Something like that. So then, like, from there, that's when it gets crazy.
You're right. And it's not like it was not crazy, but it was like, it was the first time where I saw something for randomness. And I'm going to give you a ton of credit for this, because I feel like a lot of sites struggle with that randomness. But this was the first time where it was like there was order in the chaos. Because it feels like when you use other sites and you do the randomness, it's like pulls somebody who's ranked like a day 3 in round 2,
Right.
But with this one, it's like, no, it's going to just reach up.
It only picks out of those 8. Or
Like,
if you picked 4, it would only pick out of those 4.
Right. Like, he just, like, I think one of the picks I saw was in the second round, the 4th pick was Benaj Robinson. And it's like, and I highly doubt that team got I think it was the Colts.
It was the Colts
who took him. And I highly doubt that got them an A, but I could still see him being high on their draft board for being a backup. So like him going there in the second round isn't
or
the
them
most
wanting to run the ball
craziest.
even more.
Right. So like
CJ Stroud,
right,
and Taylor.
Yeah, so like I was saying, there's that like order in the chaos where it's like, yes, it might, like you were saying, it's obviously not best player available for them, but it still makes sense for that pick, which is just great, which is really, I don't think any other site does that. So I commend you on that one too.
It took me a little bit of time to come to grips with how much do I do team needs and pay a developer to modify the algorithm versus doing some of the other things. So right now, second round, third round, and Fanatic are not there yet. Now, second round challenge, I was told it might actually be there tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
But
let's go back.
That's too soon for today, right? Or too late for today. But basically, so if you think of the first round challenges, you have to do 5 first rounds. The design requirement is 5 unique first rounds. Okay. A second round challenge is 10 unique second rounds.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So you have to do round 1, round 2.
Oh,
and every pick in round 2 is going to be unique.
That's awesome.
Right. And again, the idea behind that is that if you do the challenges, can you get A pluses? It's easy to get A's here. Can you get A plus? Can you always grab the top player on the board when you do the second round? And if you do, then that means that when you saw like Bijan Robinson go to the Colts, he won't be on the Colts second round board because they would have a Colts fan would have put a number of players above him.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the idea. Right, because like if Buffalo doesn't need a quarterback, we should be putting players above Hooker.
Right.
Right, because Hooker's probably a second round pick.
Right.
Right, so that means Hooker gets moved down to like a third round grade, and then that's where this would be 15 unique third round picks.
Wow.
That's what this is.
Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Right. And that's my way to get fans to set their boards up. I had to come up with a way because
right.
We don't want to see CJ Stroud go to Buffalo.
Right.
But how many drafts do Bills fans have to do before CJ Stroud drops to like a 4th round grade? Right. Because each time he's skipped, he moves down. So the algorithm, when you pick a player, they move up. And players that you don't pick move down just a little bit. And so if you don't pick them enough, they move down a little bit, a fractional amount, a lot. And then when those fractions add up, they've moved down the board.
Yeah, I mean, that just adds to having a, like you said at the beginning, having a different experience.
It really is a different
Yeah.
experience from other boards. You had shown me this obviously previously, and my jaw dropped, and I said, "This is really cool," and that kind of thing. And I think you've done a fantastic presentation of explaining how everything works.
Yeah,
One of the
absolutely.
things I saw in there, it looked like you could trade, like make trades, because a lot of Bills fans are talking about trading Ed Oliver for picks.
Yeah. So, for example,
Select
let's
player.
see. So, who picks right after us? The Bengals. So, that trade should get accepted. Right.
Okay.
And that's the same trade. That's the same trade we did with Baltimore last year to move up to take care of Elam, right?
Right.
We traded out the first and we had to add in a fourth. Right.
Yep.
And then.
Wow.
Oh, whoops. That's not what I want to do. Do you think we can get a third for Oliver? I don't know if that's going to be accepted by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 9 attempts remaining. I like that.
So we got a fourth for him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's whatever.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So
The
dropping
fact that
down one
there's a
spot.
players
And notice
option.
we picked Washington in that mock, and notice he moved to the top of the board.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the first round will be very volatile, meaning that if I pick Hyatt, he's going to move to the top of the board. If I pick Robinson, he'll move to the top. If I grab probably any of the players in the first page, they're probably moving to the top. Probably. I can't guarantee it without having a scratch pad to do the math.
Right.
We grabbed Robinson earlier. I think when we grabbed Robinson, he was at 45 or 50, and he's at 38 now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah. The movement is really a neat thing.
And, I had a few people helping me as I was, prototyping the site. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Dean Kindig. If you don't follow Dean on Twitter, I believe it's at TC Astro or TC_Astro. Dean is really good draft content, and I couldn't have gotten to this point without Dean's help. So I definitely want to give Dean a shout out.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy and like you said, a good Twitter follow. So
yes, definitely a good follow, and he has a unique draft perspective as well. So I'm always curious if Tippmann is a round 2 or a round 3. So this is Buffalo's second round pick, but I'm going to grab him. So he's 75. He's going to move up. We haven't done wide receiver yet. So, but notice who's at the top of the board right now. Right? So Hutchinson and Robinson have been mocked to Buffalo by users frequently enough that they're just sitting there at the top of the card in the third round.
Wow.
Wow.
And so if you're looking for specific players, I want to be able to point out that you can't assume that they're in a great order, because once people are moving up and down the board, there's going to be some volatility.
Sure.
So you have to know who you're looking for, right? So if Buffalo's grabbed 2 offensive linemen, they're probably going to look wide receiver or safety.
Mm-hmm.
right? And then that would be the list of players that would be strongly considered. And then you have to ask yourself, is that order of wide receivers acceptable?
Right.
Mhm.
Right? Because like Wilson, that might be a little high, but that still looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're at round 3, right?
Jared.
So I think that looks moderately okay. So let's go back here.
Probably get him in the 4th.
So I want you to observe that Robinson is 38, Hutchinson is 76. Let's go look at the team board and see if Robinson dropped because I picked a player over him. He should have dropped. Well, he dropped in value, but whether or not he dropped in ranking would depend on what the value of player 39 was.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have back-to-back 4th-round picks because of the trade.
Mhm.
Oh, and then is one of those the 5th-round pick? I just noticed that we have 3 straight picks.
Yeah.
I'm curious what just happened. And I'm going to go in as soon as this podcast ends. I've got to go in because it showed Buffalo having 3 straight picks. Oh, and I did make 3 straight picks, but I don't know how they got those. Something happened.
Okay.
But I don't know what. We'll grab a running back.
Actually, no, I think those were the trades.
But I
Because
only
we
made one
traded.
trade, didn't I?
No, you made 2
Oh,
because
wait,
you
you're
made the
right.
Oliver
You're
trade.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Because I traded Oliver
Right.
and I traded back 1 pick. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're good.
Okay. So then, like, here would be another example. Like, Durden shouldn't be that high.
Right.
Right.
So if I pick a player that is greater than 128 here, and then we go back in and we look, did it move Durden down from 128 to, let's say, 129? Those are different, let's say, games you can play. So I'll grab Dale.
Yeah.
So 175 should move up, 128 should move down just a little bit. So you notice how it's moving a little bit slower?
Yeah.
That's telling me somebody else is in.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
Okay, so let's go look at that Bills player list. Well, the team needs Bills player list.
So is the team needs built by the fans too?
No, that was actually part of the site design, but it didn't get implemented.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it looks really similar to Draft Tech with some of my editorials. Like, for example, Draft Tech had a couple teams where quarterback wasn't a need, and I said, well, they don't have a good quarterback, so quarterback's a need.
Mm-hmm.
And that was based upon Jim's opinion and nobody else's.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's look at
Yeah.
Durden, right?
Yeah, to drop it back.
So I don't do we remember what number he was?
128.
So he went from 128 to 131 because I picked a player that was lower than him.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Right. So he moved down a little bit. Right. And that's part of the algorithm is that if you pick a player that's lower, it's going to shift a portion of the players.
And that's just on the Bills board.
Correct.
I mean, this is how like real life works.
Yes.
Like that's the thing that I just keep coming back to. Like this is like real. Yeah, this is this simulator is probably as close as you're going to get to being a legit GM.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion.
Well, I hope people have as much fun playing with it as I do.
I did. I mean,
yeah, we love just watching it. So
Yeah.
but
Yep.
we're major geeks about all this stuff too, and it's really cool though. It's fantastic. Everything you've built here.
Yeah.
Thank you. So first round challenge is 5 unique first round picks. Second round challenge will be 10 unique second round picks.
Mhm.
If a team has 2 picks, that number doubles. So for the teams that have 2 first round picks, there's 10 unique first round picks in a first round challenge. Because the board has to be set, right? The purpose
Right.
of these challenges is to set the board, but there's some other benefits as well. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Third round Fanatic Challenge is 15 unique third round picks. So you get to do round 1 any way you want it, round 2 any way you want it, but round 3, all the picks have to be unique. Times 15.
Right.
Okay. Fanatic mode is X number of unique mock drafts. And that X will be between 2 and 8.
Okay.
So think of this as
I
reverse
see.
engineering a mock draft. So
Yep.
let's say you go and you do any of the mocks that we just did. If you were in Fanatic mode when you did it, you could do a second draft that is guaranteed to be different than the one that you just did. Because it's going to take all the players you picked and it won't let you pick them.
Oh, cool.
Oh. So, okay, so you mean, I just want to make sure I have this right. So I might have missed this. For the second and the third round Fanatic, the first and the second rounds are still happening, or is it just the second and third round? I think I missed that part.
No, this would be a 3-round mock with the third round being unique. This would be a second round, or a 2-round mock with the second round being unique. This is a first round mock where 5 first rounds are unique.
I got okay. I just missed that part. And then with the Fanatic mode,
Yep.
so if let's say Anthony Richardson does end up going to the Raiders at 7 in that first mock, in that second mock, they would not select him again, right?
Correct.
Well, you have to be the Fanatic, right?
Well, no, we can do a first round challenge. So okay, so let's do that example. Raiders, first round challenge. Okay.
I think it was taken already.
Out of these players, who would the Raiders pick?
Love this. Oh, he was taken.
I told you he was taken.
Lame.
Yeah, let's do Levis.
Okay. Okay. So notice that in the next iteration, it made sure that Levis was already taken.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So if this was the Raiders pick, who do you think they would take?
We'll go with Richardson. That's who Noah wanted.
Yeah.
But now they're both going to be gone, right?
Yep.
But
there are other good
I just had to make sure none of the other quarterbacks fell. That was just a quick.
Yeah.
Chicago did it.
Wilson and Anderson are both gone.
Chicago did do a Chicago thing.
I'm going to go Robinson.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, but they franchised Jacobs, didn't they? They did.
Yes, they did.
Oh,
They
that's
did.
true.
Let's do Paris Johnson. I'm going to do Paris Johnson.
Yeah, they need linemen.
He's a boomer.
So now, in this iteration, Paris Johnson is gone. Oh, okay. And I don't see Levi's and Richardson, but they're not going to display here.
I like that.
Okay.
Right.
Like
So they're not available for me to pick.
Gotcha.
I like that though, because you actually have to put some thought into it, which then in turns obviously helps your algorithm as well and helps everybody and makes this even more realistic. which is great.
Yeah. So if people didn't know this about me, I am a software engineer by trade. And there's been numerous people I've met in my life that aren't engineers, but they tell me I am such an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what these modes are. I am such an engineer. So it's okay to say it out loud. I'm not going to be offended, right? But,
Right.
But the basic idea is, first of all, to be able to give people the ability to make the screenshot. So we'll finish this here. And
this is cool.
Okay.
Okay, and then look, Bryce Young this time was available, as is Will Anderson, and neither of those were ever available before.
That's
okay. So if you were to do this first round challenge and say, okay, do these look like good Raiders picks?
Copy him.
God,
right,
this
and
is
you
just
can have
great.
a discussion just about who you want in round one.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's do a Buffalo first round challenge, right? Because we are Bills Mafia, right? So I don't know. Have we already done a Bills first round challenge?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we only did regular mocks.
Just take Skronsky.
Yeah.
No, I would go Hyatt. I want Hyatt higher than Skoronsky.
Really? Okay.
Well, and you're going to see a theme because I don't like where the tight end is.
Where Washington is?
So I don't like where Washington is, so I'm always going to pick somebody that's below Washington.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And I'm not saying Washington would be a bad first round pick.
No, he's just.
But I think there will be rioting on Twitter.
Yeah. Campbell wouldn't be bad, or Smith.
Or Torrance. Osiris.
Or Downs. Oh.
Okay. So we can agree. Well, we can agree. This leaves a good discussion. Are these 5 good first round picks for Buffalo?
Right.
Would you be mad at any of the 5, right? And then you go in and you look at the player board.
Oh, yeah. It dropped. Washington.
That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't see where Washington was. Maybe I'm...
Last page.
Okay, there he is. Yep.
Yeah.
15, so.
Okay. But that's the idea. But also notice how volatile it is. Because if anybody comes in and grabs Washington, he's going to move right back up into like the top 5.
Right.
So it's volatile. Like...
Or Will Levis.
I do like controlling things, but I just didn't like seeing the tight end there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a part of the goal was, okay, what does social media talk about? Right. So let's talk about who should somebody take in the first round. Like I have some Bengals in my feed. So if we were to do a first round challenge for the Bengals, they want offensive line or tight end. Right. So that's a good pick for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but notice who they have. Okay.
It is. Wow.
I haven't seen a first round grade in DeJuan Jones, though. Like they're saying you want Jones over Wright.
Huh.
Wow. Which is definitely different than, the big boys.
And then
Quentin Johnson being 3rd BPA for them. Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's Michael Mayer.
Your boy.
He's my boy.
You're a Notre Dame fan or just...
I just liked watching them.
We get draft darlings that we like.
Yeah,
we got it. And then Jones.
What's this?
And there should be one more tight end that comes up. We'll go Washington. Okay. So again, that's a screenshot right there. You can have a discussion. Do you agree that these are 5 good picks for the Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
I like how, yeah. So, I mean, exactly what you were talking about with Jones, that got an A+ because for whatever reason, Bengals
He
fans
was
are
the
obsessed
top
with
player
him.
on the board.
Yeah.
He was the
Right.
top player on the board at the time that I picked him.
Yeah, that's great. And
So
then if
the
a Bengals
grading,
fan, that's just insane.
the
How,
grading on Draft Fanatics is adjustable. You
Mhm.
could do a draft today and get B's, C's, and D's. Actually, let's do that. Let's do a B draft for Buffalo. We will not draft anybody at the top. So that means we have to pick 9 or greater to get B's.
okay.
Okay. So out of the top 8.
Yep.
Got it.
So
Campbell.
B
Okay.
draft for Buffalo. We're going to draft Jack Campbell.
Finally drafted Campbell.
Hate that though.
Okay. So here, so in the second round, I'm going to grab Hutchinson.
Yep.
So this is a B draft.
Boy. Oh,
Laporta, that's not a bad pick in the third round.
it's not
Yeah.
either.
Iowa tight ends too. They just always work.
Okay. Kuntz is there too, but let's go back and let's do Laporta.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at, what have we done so far? We have done linebacker, wide receiver, tight end. We still have to do offensive line and safety.
Yeah.
So offensive line is going to get thin after round 2. Like, there's not much left.
Mm-hmm.
So we're Buffalo's 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't grab either of those guys because they're 4 and 7. Those guys would give me A's.
Yeah.
By the nature of the
gotcha.
exercise, we're going for a B draft. So I'm going to go.
Alabama, right?
Yeah, he went to Alabama. He
Right.
has to.
Yeah.
When
know
in doubt,
When in
Alabama,
doubt.
Georgia.
And then we haven't done a safety yet, but we need a safety that's outside of the top 9. So let's do this.
Quindle, that actually won it.
Okay, so it learns. So everything here is a B or a C, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am just okay. I don't have my Twitter up. I'm going to go to Discord. I'm just going to paste it. So you guys may have not seen my Discord, but I've at least saved that. Okay, so Campbell, Hutchinson, Laporta, Steen, Johnson. Let's do that draft one more time.
And how the grade should improve.
So there's Campbell. That's going to be an A. Hutchinson was who we picked, right?
Yes.
Notice he's second now. That's going to be an A.
Laporta was next.
He's not there.
Oh.
Yep. You got grabbed. Okay.
Oh. Interesting. Did we do? No. I like that.
Right.
So I like, well, we need to tackle. So I'll go. I grabbed Steen last time, right? I
Yeah.
just grabbed him one round later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll grab him here. I'm gonna get an A for the pick because he was in the top 6.
That's nutty.
Did I grab Dorian Williams last time?
I don't think so.
I think it was Quindell Johnson at the end of Steen. Yeah, because we're missing Laporta.
Now we're missing
And
a
then at
tight
this
end,
point,
basically.
I'll be able to make my point from from here, right? So once I finish the draft, you're going to see that my grades improved, even though I picked the same players. Notice I got A's.
You know what? I'd wonder how different it would be if you posted one on Discord to get information back, and you posted one with the A's. For the grades.
Yep. So the grading is adjustable.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just looking at where the player was on the draft card. At the time of the pick, where was the player ranked?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the likelihood that you're going to get an A+ draft,
mm-hmm.
that means you have to pick the top player in the card each time.
Right.
That's boring, but if that's
you want to, go ahead.
If you need to get your A+, if you need to show the report card to your mother.
Right. Yeah, this is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait until this is the main site.
Yeah. How many users do you have using it and stuff right now? Is it still in sort of beta?
Well, no, it's NFLDraftFanatics.com, right?
Right.
So it's there. So it's out there. Every weekend I'm on Twitter trying to get more users to use it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can tell you that users are using it because the last time I looked, Mozzie Smith was not on Buffalo's first round draft grade.
Yeah.
So that was news to me today when I logged in and used the site, right?
Right.
So, but that's what I like about it is that, okay, somebody mocked Mozzie Smith to Buffalo really high, right? Well, another user comes in from a different team, and all of a sudden Mozzie Smith isn't there, and every other site always has him there in the second round.
Right.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite part too, was like you were saying, that volatility, but also on top of that, as I said earlier, that order within the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it seems like it's crazy, but it all also makes
it connects.
Sense.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of connects.
And
like you said about the reverse engineering, you can see how you almost reverse engineered it and then re-engineered it.
Yeah.
Yep. Because clearly fans like the way the PFF graphic looks.
Right.
There's probably more PFF screenshots than every other draft simulator combined.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so boring.
And last year when Buffalo needed a corner, there would be sometimes in the PFF mocks where the top 5 corners were gone before Buffalo's pick.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the typical thing was just to keep trading back until the corner was the right value for the pick.
Right.
But you could pretty much figure out PFF's engine because maybe 1 out of 5 mocks, you could get Elam falling to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen very often. But my opinion is that it needs to be more random.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Right. Like just for people to have the discussions they want to have, they want to post this and talk about the players and why they picked them.
Yeah.
Right. And if Jack Campbell isn't really going to be there, to me, that's not the discussion, but who am I to tell social media what to discuss, right?
Right.
But at least have the opportunity to have enough randomness that it happens enough.
Yeah, I think that's really great. You've built something great here. We are more than willing to promote it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it.
Have you on more too.
Make sure, we'd love to have you on as the draft gets closer, just to talk draft even.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can see you how far the site has come. We can maybe run a couple drafts through this as well. And that kind of thing, I think this has been a lot of fun. I agree. Noah and I are geeking out over here. So
yeah.
thank you guys so much for having me. I
You're
am
welcome.
truly humbled by you guys asking me. I can keep talking about it over and over again. I have put a lot of work into this, but it is a lot of fun to share my idea with other people and see if they like it.
Yeah, so, you should be very proud of what you built.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to take off. I really think it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yep. If there's anything you want to tell our viewers right now, feel free.
So if my mom or kids are still listening, hi Mom, hi Ramsey, hi Colby. But no, like I said, guys, I'm thrilled that you guys asked me to join. And thank you. NFLDraftFanatics.com and Turkey Burger Mafia.
Nice.
All right.
All right, Jim. We appreciate it so much. That is Jim Wickens from, again, NFLDraftFanatics.com. Make sure you go. Make sure you vote. And if you don't like where the players are ranked, you have a say.
Right.
So make sure that you have fun. It looks as fun as a video game to me.
It does.
And a lot of analysis and insight into it as well.
Right.
A lot you can learn from it. A lot you can have fun with, like I said. So
yeah, especially when those Fanatics things come, like it sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, no other site, does something. Later in the rounds, and I'm always the type of person that's like, I want to do the full 7. I want to mock it out. I want to look at what's going to be there. And the fact that you can do, I like the idea of the Fanatics, and I like the idea of having a different mock 7 every single time, and not being able to predict really. So this is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic site.
Yep. So on that note, Jim, this has been a great hour and a half, however long. Went by really fast.
It did.
We appreciate all of our viewers who came in and looked, whether you spent 5 minutes or the whole time with us. You're awesome. And thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Again, much appreciated. Glad you could join us. And this was great to have you on.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Todd.
Yep. Take care.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
So, Mr. Jim Wickens.
Yeah.
He was really impressive.
Yeah.
I really liked having him on. I liked having a good time with
that was fun
with people and learning about that stuff. I think we'll show it to CJ.
Yeah, I think CJ's gonna be like a kid in a candy shop after we show him that. But it's awesome. He has a great site. This was a great show with
a great name too.
Yeah,
NFL
absolutely.
Draft Fanatics.
Yeah,
that's gonna. I think he's gonna take off.
I mean, I think just based off the way the technology is, it should.
Yeah,
there's nothing out there that's like this.
That's using that kind of engine.
Yeah, and if there is, you're probably going to pay for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
well, and his job may be to monetize it at some point or sell it off,
Hey, yeah.
Exactly. If you're Madden.
and they could use a revamp, that's for sure. But yeah, absolutely. I really do hope it takes off for him. It was great. Yeah, this was a great show. Thanks for being a good co-host too.
Hey, you had great questions. You were really good. This was a lot of fun.
This was.
We really, again, I think we just want to appreciate Jim coming on.
Yeah.
If you're looking for him on Twitter, he is at Cincy Planner. Cincy like Cincinnati. Yep. CINCY Planner. Mm-hmm. Go give him a shout out and say, awesome show. You guys were great.
Yeah.
Make sure if you enjoyed our show,
right,
that you go to YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Do all of those fun things that most shows beg of you to do. We don't beg. We don't put, things up there. Maybe we should, but
we probably should. But hey, That's what you get here.
That's what you get. Or the professionals,
right,
who have a little bit of fun along the way.
Well, a little. But yeah, no, again, like he said, like, comment, and subscribe. If you made it to the end, we hope you had fun. We hope you come back for more shows. They're generally like this, except we, just don't have a guest, but there's another guy we do this with. So please come back. We'd love to see.
If you've never met
people.
CJ, you have to meet CJ.
Yeah, you
If
gotta
met
see our
his
shows
daughter,
with CJ.
Yeah,
It's great. Just great insight, great guy. But yeah, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. Again, shout out to Jim. Shout out to NFL Draft Fanatics.
Dean Kindig.
Dean Kindig. Fantastic follow. Like, great. He wasn't kidding about the insight. We literally had a chat about one of Dean's tight end threads on Twitter today in our group chat. So absolutely, great Twitter follow. But yeah, again, shout out. I'm going to do it one more time. Shout out Jim Wickens, where you can find him at Cincy Planner. That's Cincy, CINCY Planner. He does have a Twitter for his site, which is NFL Draft Fanatic without the I. And then, yeah, go use his site, go and tweet at us at GameDay716. If you have mock drafts that you did on his site, tweet at us. Tweet at Jim. Show us what you're thinking. If you're the person who made Maze Smith fly up the Bills draft board, let us know. We'll want to know. That would be interesting. And why?
Take your images and put them up, just like people are doing with PFF.
And I mean, it looks
this
like
is
PFF
way
even,
more
so,
fun.
This site's way more fun than anything you'll find out there. So as always, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Also, our thoughts are with the people in Hamburg, Germany as well. There was a mass shooting there, so our thoughts are with them. But yeah, everybody have a good rest of your weekend, and we're out of here.
Stay sunny.